Okay, back with jazz hands. Hi, folks. Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with Astrology Mojo. Want to help you get your mojo back. Little bit of a tech glitch, not sure what. We just kind of moved wires around. Welcome the Mercury in retrograde. People say, but wait, the technical dates for Mercury in retrograde aren't until July 7th to the 31st. And I say, well, it's called prephase. And what happens in the prephase is pretty exciting because I just got the thumbs up. Yeah, it's working. Okay. What happens in the Mercury in retrograde prephase is a lot of what you would like to have happen in life suddenly slows down. It's like the spin slows down, and then all of a sudden the thing that's been stopping you from having that thing happen is what happens. Yeah, that happened. So just a little precursor, if you're new to me or you're new to my information, that the planets don't make you do anything, that we live in a cooperation with the cosmos so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that in the heavens via aspects and angles, and basically astrology merely tells you what time it is. So right now it's time for the recurrence of the issue that stops you from growing. So what might that be? It could be an emotion. I don't know. You tell me. Let me know that you're here. Come say hello. Oh, all right, the reason why we're going to be talking about the prephase of Mercury in retrograde in Leo, and then it moves into Cancer and then back again. But the reason why we're talking about that is because it's a very dramatic time. And as our daughter Aaliyah went back to college to start the next semester, and in fact work first. What's that happening here? My hair is doing its own thing. Here comes the humidity. So what happens is Aaliyah goes back to college, and we have all decided to redo the bedroom. So we thought, we have a little bit of time. We'll post the furniture on Craigslist. But, even though Aaliyah spent many days cleaning out closets and drawers and stuff, the remainder of what she wanted to keep was still in her dresser and nightstand. And so Dean posted on Craigslist. And then the very next day, we got a phone call. Yeah, oh, okay. So we're scrambling and taking all the clothes out of the drawers and finding space for them on the floor and then in the closet. It was, it was exciting. And we were ready to sit down and do our work. And then we got another phone call the next day that someone was ready to buy the twin bed. So again, our work was disrupted. And so I want to talk about disruption. And I'd like to talk about distraction in a Mercury in retrograde. Christine says, yeah, gotcha. The sound's working. Yay, hooray. What if I did this? You might think, oh no, it went out again. No, it didn't. I'm just playing. Okay, so this particular Mercury in retrograde, as it begins it's in a dual sign. It's going to be in Leo, then in Cancer, but it couples with the lunar and solar eclipses. So that's going to be pretty profound in your realization potential. So that's why I say, let's start paying attention to all the little, the nuances of how you feel and what that feeling reminds you of. And it can be a happy feeling. It can be an empowered feeling. And most of the time, because the brain is hardwired to protect us from harm, we don't typically go back to look for those happy memories. We go back to, and then they left me or they cheated on me, and I was in a car accident or I was so sad. And, and I even had that experience yesterday where I felt a rumble of something very deep, just like I don't know, I feel a little off, right? Yeah, many people are feeling this retrograde. So yesterday, my husband and I were going to watch a movie, and I just kind of felt a little, not quite 100% me. And knowing myself and knowing how emotions can sometimes be so squelched that they get smashed below the surface. But where the brain goes is, oh, I'm annoyed with something, or don't do that, or can you stop chewing so loud? It's like the emotions that we hold in sometimes get so buried that we don't know exactly what's happening. So, but me being me, I say, Dean's like, oh, okay, you want to ready to start the movie? And I said, I don't know, something is off with me. Can we just take a few minutes? And Dean said, yeah. So we kind of snuggled, and Dean held my hand, and I said, there's something moving, and it's trying to find a door. Something is trying to find its way out. So I did some deep breaths, and I didn't have any specific thoughts in my head about an issue, because I know full well that when you try to attach an issue to a feeling before you felt the feeling, or before you're even feeling the feeling, you're not in your feelings. You're not in your emotions, and the head will take over. So I just kind of was hanging out, maybe trying to describe how I felt a little bit. I just feel kind of empty, but not the spiritual bliss empty. It was just kind of is it loneliness? No, I don't typically get lonely. But then this sweeping roll, it felt like a rolling wave just came up and out, and I felt so sad. And then behind that were the tears and the images that came to mind. This is very important. So when you're allowing feelings to come during this Mercury in retrograde, the solar eclipse in Cancer, the lunar eclipse in Capricorn, this energy is going to be most intense from now through the first week of August, well, actually mid-August, but then it will extend through October. And I'm going to be posting how you can work with me on power sessions and eclipse power sessions. So that we can really get to the core of what it is, bring it up, heal it, move on, and then refocus so that we can manifest in the next 6 months for you and what you want to accomplish. So anyway, so I was lying there and I felt this overwhelming sad feeling. And then the thought in my head was me, 3 years old, lying in my crib. Yes, we lived in a very impoverished kind of area. And my crib was in my parents' room. And it was pale yellow, but there was nothing in it except the mattress. And I was staring out through the bars at the bedroom. It was an empty room, and the shades were drawn, so I guess so I could nap, but I was wide awake. And I had the same exact feeling as I had sitting with my husband yesterday. There was this immense feeling of not disassociation, but an emptiness and a longing to go home. That was the feeling. And then it was, with Dean, once I recognized it, out it came all. And I started to explain to Dean in between my, and I was, the sobbing, and I just let that go. And it was very profound. And then I thought, oh, okay, I feel a little better. And then, boof, here comes the second wave. And the second wave was huge. It was bigger than me. And it had to do with just core emotions of pain, not mine, the planet's pain. And every reading I've ever had where people were in pain, and I let that go. It was big. And then about half an hour, 45 minutes later, Dean said, how about we skip the movie because it's about someone, it's a traumatic kind of movie. And we go watch David Letterman and Ellen DeGeneres. And I was like, yeah, good idea. And I had a cup of tea and I felt great afterward. I felt tired from the experience, but I had let something huge go. So I want you to be very aware in this particular Mercury in retrograde, it can feel dramatic because it is in the sign of Leo and then in the sign of Cancer. And one needs to express outwardly and one is inward. And so, but the combination of the flow with the solar eclipse, which happens on July 2nd in the sign of Cancer, and we're already feeling it. We're in the pre-phase. Nothing ever starts or stops on a dime in this universe, right? You know what I say, folks, right? The planets don't make you do anything, even though the sun and the moon are not planets, but we feel them more. That we live in a cooperation with the cosmos so that when something is happening out there, it is a reflection of what's going on in here and vice versa. So I want you to pay very close attention to that. Oh, Leah, I'm glad you're back. You feel rage. Becky feels rage. Okay, so what you want to, and also because of the Cancer, Capricorn, Leo energies, this can be like a cycle of denial, holding, withholding emotion and attention to personal needs, and then feeling overwhelmed by them, and then the explosion. And the rage can mingle in there, or the despair. I mean, literally yesterday, what I let go of was many lifetimes of lament. That's what it felt like. And great, good. We got to let it go. So, but my nature as a Capricorn rising, you see my little emoji sitting on Saturn. I'm a Capricorn rising. And so the tendency for the Capricorn energy is to be very stoic and be the responsible one, at the party. I won't imbibe. I'll drive you home. I'll drive everybody home because of that responsibility toward the world. And that, and you don't have to have any Capricorn planets, a sun, rising, or moon, or Capricorn planets in your chart, or Cancer or Leo, sun, rising, or moon, but the energy is more intense if you do. And so what I'm recommending to everyone, aside from, Leo, we got sound. All I ever wanted. Now we have sound. I actually downloaded that song the other day into iTunes because it kept rolling around in my head, and I thought, I just have to get it and put it in my iPod and sing it. These snippets that come back from the past, and the older you get, the further back your memories go. Isn't that weird? Okay, so my first card for the day really is going to be, I pulled gender. Now, gender does not necessarily have to do with man or woman, but it is masculine or feminine. So if you are the type of person who you like to be fueled by that, hey, the judgment, the fire, the anger, this is a time that could be potentially explosive for you internally. So we want to dampen that a little bit and use more of the opposite of those energies. So where Leo can be very melodramatic, let's move into drama. And drama is watching a movie, a show, a play, listening to music, dancing, painting, doing something creative, taking charge without the rage. The opposite of the Cancer, sarcasm, wounded, Leo, very wounded on the negative side. But on the positive side for Cancer, it's nurturing. So self-care is a must right now. If you feel anything that is less than neutral, from neutral to negative, what you want to do is take a moment. Self-care is a must. Because what we're going to see on the stage of the world with these eclipses and this Mercury in retrograde is a lot of judgment. People are going to start a sentence, any sentence, at work, at the supermarket, if you're in a class setting, at home, with family, friends. They start a sentence, they might pause to gather their thought, and you take that sentence and you adhere to that sentence and then react to that sentence before they can even finish. So you want to be really careful about what's happening in your process and in your perception. So someone might be looking at something, they're reading something, and you come in and you interrupt them, and they don't have the smile that you're looking for, the response time that you're looking for, and then you get pissed off. It's things like that that don't need to happen. These are juvenile behaviors that don't need to happen. So what you want to look at is your patterns. What's the recurring emotion that keeps coming back throughout your entire life? What's that feeling? Is it invalidation? Is it anger? Is it sadness, feeling lost? lamenting, hopeless, helpless. So show me now in the chat, what are some of these feelings? And the reason I talk about this is because gender has very different expressions. Now, you could be a very masculine woman, and but you're a woman, right? But the energy is more masculine. And so you might be stoic and roll up the sleeves and go, who has time for emotions? Come on, we got to get this done. Or you could be a male who is very sensitive, right? So gender is not about male or female. It is about expression. And so if you're willing to come to terms with that recurring issue that you've had, that recurring feeling. Now, remember, retrograde, any planet that goes retrograde literally means, it's Latin, it means to step back. So if you are stepping back into an old pattern, an old habit, you're trying to get something done, you're focused, everything's going great, and suddenly you're distracted and you go squirrel. And you say, every time I'm about to leave the house, my family goes into chaos and I have to stay. And then I'm late. Or every time I'm ready to go do that thing, I do this, or I feel this way, or this thing happens. And then the emotion arises. So you want to be very aware of what that is. So Sasha says, I'm feeling unworthy or overlooked. Is that feminine energy? Feminine will fall to victim. The negative side of feminine energy falls into the victim category. The negative side of masculine energy falls into apathy and or arrogance. So, and it's a combination of both always. So you want to see if how you're feeling and how you're expressing is working for you. And if you're feeling, for example, Sasha's feeling overlooked, ignored, unworthy, then what would be the solution for you, Sasha? Think about it. You want to do the exact opposite. So instead of waiting for the outside world to validate you, you look in the mirror first thing in the morning and you smile. Even if it feels forced or fake, you smile. And you say, I really care about you. And then it's going to be hard to breathe. And then you're going to go, yeah, but they didn't. You come back to, I really care about you, Sasha. And I know exactly how you feel. Okay? The ultimate validation comes from within. It's never going to come from outside of you. And so when you look at your gender expression, you're also looking at how do you want to be not just perceived, but how would you like your expression to match your contribution? Sometimes people will say, well, I'll only give to this person because, they gave back. Then don't give to someone who doesn't give back. So if you're looking for validation in the world, now I'm not just talking about Sasha, I'm talking about anyone, because what you just described is a very Leo negative energy where it's like, hey, I did this thing. Hey, I made the best dinner. And then nobody says anything. And you're like, oh my God, it probably isn't the best thing. Oh my gosh, I'm invalidated. It's terrible. Nobody even smiled at me, So you're waiting for the outside world to validate you. That's a Leo energy. Now, a Capricorn energy and a Cancer energy, they play off of one another, and I want to show you today's transits. But first, we have Christine says, a recurring feeling of not being supported by those around me. All right, so then you need to support yourself because you're the one who magnetized the people around you. And so this is the mind-blowing thing that when we're constantly looking to, and that's also that energy that's a victim wound energy. And so when we look for other people to fill in the spaces, the gaps, the holes that we think we have or are, it will never happen. And we go into this cycle. And this is what I'm talking about. When retrogrades come by, the cycle, the pattern shows itself. I just need to adjust my seat here. My chair got wonky. Okay. Does this make sense? Is this making sense? Becky says, I'm the one always getting interrupted and words get twisted because I didn't get heard. Well, ta-da. Then how about we all take a deep breath right now. That is a perfect moment of pause. Just a deep breath. And then you reset. And instead of saying, I'm the one who always gets interrupted, I want you to stop and say, oh, wow, if I had stronger boundaries, maybe I wouldn't be so interrupted. If my words get twisted, maybe I need to be clear on who I am, and that comes with boundaries as I'm expressing myself. So this is going to be a playground for those of us who choose to be more aware about who we are and take responsibility for those things. Now, when I give the eclipse power-up sessions, I'm going to be looking at the solar eclipse, where it's going to trigger your life and a whole slew of patterns from the past. And with the Capricorn lunar eclipse also, where it triggers your life and what needs to happen first before you can proceed, what needs to be eliminated, mitigated, neutralized, released. And the bonus is the Mercury in retrograde reading, first in Leo, then in Cancer. And these energies are going to last for months for a lot of people. So if you're working on being a more congruent individual, aligning body, mind, and spirit, working on a project, working on deepening your relationship to self, lover, family, friends, working on building a business. Everything starts with you. So if you can imagine building a business on little popsicle sticks, and it's kind of shaky in the wind. So every time something happens, whoopsie, I'm going to fall over. And then you build another level of, I want to start a new business. Oh, I want to have this relationship. Oh, I want to go do this thing. Oh, I want to travel. Oh, and you build on this shaky little thing. The foundation is who you are on the inside, right? So once you recalibrate what's going on internally, that's with your neurons, with your emotions. And we look at the order of things, folks. Wisdom comes from knowing the order of things. And you are the first order of your business. Any business. Wealth, health, passion, purpose. You want to build on something. You start from the inside out. This is the purpose of retrogrades and eclipses, to show you. Big spotlight. The solar eclipse is like, boom, the spotlight comes down from the universe and says, here is what you're manifesting. And if suddenly you get a phone call to start a new job, or somebody that you met suddenly comes back and says, hey, was thinking about you. You want to go to a picnic? And, I'm really kind of interested in you. And you say, wow, I was not expecting that. Or the opposite. Sometimes a health issue arises and you go, wow, what I don't know that I don't know just showed up. And so we call it life, but we can actually have more involvement in the outcome. We really can if you power up. So does that make sense? Okay. And these power up sessions, I go deep, I go wide, as long as you allow me to. And so a lot of times, especially around the solar and lunar eclipses, the eclipses are portals of transformation. That's all they are, really. And they help you energetically align with what's truth and what is not truth. And your mind is usually blown, like, I can't believe, somebody just sideswiped my car and they drove off. And it brings up these feelings that you have not been paying attention to. It's not the car thing or the conversation thing or the people thing that is important. Please understand this. It's your response or reaction to it. Because if something is hidden in you and you don't know it's there, the universe will poke at you, poke at you, poke at you, poke at you. And the universe is not the outside celestial events, although that coincides with who you are internally. It's you on the inside saying, I need to wake up. I need to wake up. Come on, remember, it's time to wake up. I came to this earth to wake up. And so you'll wake up. And it's not a positive or negative thing. It's an awareness thing, okay? That's the distinction. Does that make sense? Thumbs up, let me know. Progress signs, merit or not. Progress signs also play a huge role. What Christine is talking about is, in astrology, there's something called a progression. And if you count, let's say you were born on May 1st, and you count 35 days into May 1st, from May 1st, you are now progressed. Your sun sign is progressed to Gemini. And the Gemini energies will create an aura over who you are. And so you'll find issues or situations or opportunities in progressions. And I am happy to toss in a progression, a quick progression for this Power Up Eclipse session. So thank you for mentioning that, Christine. Because, right now I am a progressed Cancer, even though I'm a Taurus. If you count the amount of days from your birthday, wherever it lands in the calendar, that is your progressed sun sign. Now, it's broken down by degree. So it's not just, I'm a progressed Cancer. What does that mean? I'm doing so much more cooking and baking. I'm focused so much more on nurturing myself. I'm writing like crazy and focused on authorship. And that's a Cancer energy. So it's good to know the decadence, and those are the degrees. Anyway, and there's 3 decadents, and so you'll travel through a few years of a progressed sign. So that's what that's about. Does it make sense? Who's got the incense? You know what I have here? It's called Magic Blossom Joy, and it just makes me feel so happy. Essential oils are very profound during emotional times. So if you have an essential oil and you want to get the really clean ones, because a lot of off-brand places will mix them with solvents, and you don't want to be inhaling solvents. So look for, do your research and look for really clean essential oils. They might cost a little bit more, but it's so worth it because they're healing. And so I'll keep orange or tangerine around, or this Blossom Joy, which is a combination of some citrus and some rose with some ylang-ylang. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, and then if you're going through something emotional, you take a deep breath, you exhale to get present, whip out your essential oil, take a little whiff and go, this is the only moment that exists right now. This is the only moment I'm in right now. Make sense? Yay! Leah says, no matter the situation or time, always feeling like some sock is going to drop. Okay, that's cute. Shoe? A shoe's going to drop? I think that's the expression. That's cute. Well, if you're waiting for the sucker punch, and that's typically a Libran energy, you might be in a progressed Libra, or you might have some extra Libra stuff going on in your chart. I don't remember your entire chart. I do know that you're a Leo moon, correct, Leah? So you're going to feel this big time because of the Mercury in retrograde in Leo, especially. But it's not a negative thing. It can be, I just had an awareness. Oh my gosh. And if you're a person who's always waiting for the sucker punch, like, I do this thing, but I'm waiting for the reprimand. That is a Capricorn energy. If I do this thing, oh my gosh, I think I caused harm. And you are a Scorpio, that I do know. But the higher end of energy. So what anyone wants to do, if you're feeling like the sucker punch is coming, like you've done something wrong, this is where you want to incorporate your EFT tapping. Even though I feel like the other shoe is going to drop, or I feel like the sucker punch is coming, I deeply and completely love and accept myself, and then move on to all the points. Now, I have, in one of my previous videos, done some EFT tapping. And so I want you to, go to my YouTube channel, and all my videos have been uploaded. And please comment and let other people know, and share and let other people know, get the word out that I'm here to help. I really want to see people, be empowered and to have that moment of enlightenment where they say, so I think Dean can post my YouTube channel link, Astrology Mojo YouTube channel. Let's say that fast 3 times. I need a drink. Our daughter, when she was 2.5 or 2, she just burst out of the door of her bedroom, and she sounded like some old sailor in a saloon. She went, I need something to drink. It was the funniest moment. That was over 18 years ago. And see these little moments that I have, I draw on them for humor. and not alcohol, because I don't drink alcohol. So, folks, what's the recurring emotion that is coming up for you? We have rage, we have sucker punches, we have sorrow, and invalidation. Invalidation is a situation, not a feeling or an emotion. So I want you to give me the feeling. What's the feeling? Oh, Christine says, I have been receiving in your face signs. Okay, so whenever you get a sign, you want to take time to digest it, to see what it means, what it could possibly mean, without attaching, oh yeah, I read this thing in a dream dictionary, or I read this thing online, or somebody said it's this thing. You have to be very congruent with yourself and know what that situation or what that in your face business means to you by deciphering the feeling and then the emotion, right? We talked about that too. There is a distinction. Feeling is a barometer. It's just a meter that weighs in on the emotion. So the feeling can be really charged because the emotion is really high, or the feeling can be blissed out because the emotion is blissed out. So feeling is a barometer. I'm going to do another card on what we can. I will be back, by the way, on Monday the 24th, and that is at 10 a.m. And I'm only doing 7 of these power-up sessions because life is busy right now, and I want to serve as many people as possible. And I'm working on finishing up my astrology masterclass. Very excited about that, and researching my slew of books and working with people, of course. So, and redoing Aaliyah's bedroom. That's fun too. They're all fun for me. So I want you to really think about what the stopgap is. Where are you not able to go beyond? Because that's where you need to seek professional help and expertise. So allow me to be your guide. When things show up in an eclipse, sometimes they are so powerful. And again, it's not necessarily positive or negative. It depends on you and what you've been manifesting. That's all they do. Remember earlier I said the solar eclipse shines a big spotlight, like ta-da, jazz hands, on what you've been manifesting, while the lunar eclipse brings up, it casts a glow on those things you have been ignoring. So when you can clear out the emotional level and aura and depth that has been stopping you, those issues become a non-issue. And then you're able to accelerate your progression, your growth, your direction, your trajectory. Make sense? How are we feeling right now? Is there a difference, by the way, between how you felt 25 minutes ago when I first started talking, or however long it's been? Has it been over a half an hour? Wow. And now, what is the difference? How did you feel when you first started hearing my voice today on this, or if you're in a replay? What was the initial feeling, overall, general, weather in your body and in mind compared to now? What's the difference? I'd like to know in the chat room, please, while I pull a happy card for everyone. And you can gaze at our daughter's painting for me. Okay, got a strong vibe on this. Perpetual transformation. Ooh, that was trippy. Ooh, it's a moire pattern. Perpetual transformation. Ta-da! What does that mean? It doesn't end. That's what it means. Sometimes you need to take a break, just like chill out and watch, binge watch a show. But always come back to who you are, what you need. Body, mind, spirit is the whole gig, because we feel things so deeply in this body, on this earth. Don't just think you can think it away with, oh yeah, I'm really happy, I'm really happy, I'm really happy. Positive affirmations work when you pay attention to what the moment is. Make sense? I hope so. All right. I am going to be coming back. We have something. So Becky says she feels calmer now. Excellent. And that's just from listening to me chatter about the umbrella, the peripheral, what you can do to deal with these feelings. I'm going to talk more about that on Monday. And in the meantime, take what I have given you. I feel very calm after listening to you. Thank you, folks. I really appreciate that. And Diana says, and it's a wonderful thing because as I bring in the light, I share it and it comes through me first, right? So it helps me too. And then it's the contribution to you. I want you to note the difference between who you were and who you are now, because that's what you can accomplish just by following my simple instructions. And yeah, it can be that easy. But sometimes, we just, when we're in it, it's like an explosion, an implosion. We just don't know what to do with it. You don't have to do a whole lot except be present with it. And if you are in harm's way, you first find a place of safety. Number one, if you think you're going to harm someone, you sequester yourself in a place of safety. Take deep breaths, get present with how you feel. Note the difference between what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling. And when is the last time I had this feeling, this emotion? And then when was it before that? And then when was it before that? And then suddenly it's going to be like the red thread. Chick Corea, jazz musician, said, it is the red thread between nothing. We are the red thread between nothingness and eternity. I thought that was very profound. I read that when I was in high school. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And it's true. So who are you on this thread? And you pluck the thread and it vibrates. And that vibration can be happy, sad, enraged, calm, lost, invalidated, all the things that we are and can be. What would you like to be? Well, don't jump over who you are now just to get to where you want to go. You have to be where you are in order to move that energy with love, self-care, a few deep breaths, acknowledgement, validation, recognition, cup of tea, warm hug. And I love you in the mirror, or 2 or 20,000. And then go to the next step. And it doesn't have to take so long. In the beginning, it might feel like that. Then it's half an hour, tops. All right, folks, be sparkly, be present, put your love into the world because you are a Mojo Mystic. You are a Mojo Mystic, and the changes that happen and the transformation that happens within you, you will then put out as a frequency into the world. And that's how we're all going to heal. Thank you for being you. I'll be back Monday, the 24th at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Pacific in Arizona time and 11 Mountain. Be well, be present, be kind to yourself. I'll see you soon.